I don't have enough time to wet set my hair. This is what I do when I still want it to look like a wet set. By the way, my name is Lauren. I am a hairstylist, a educator, a obsessor over vintage beauty, mostly hair. If you are into that kind of stuff, please subscribe and please come back for more. I didn't script anything today, so I'm sorry if it's a little disjointed. I needed to get ready for a little short thing I needed to film. I thought, well, I guess I could film getting ready, a longer form video for all of you who really have the patience to get into all of the weeds of how a hairstyle is done. Just a bit about how this setting is different from just doing a curling iron set. If you notice, my hair is not sticking out right above the ears. I want, much like Marilyn Monroe's in her earlier 50s, in the earlier 50s, not in her 50s. She didn't make it that far. In the earlier 50s and mid 50s, her hair, it did this lovely thing where it was closer to the head and the volume worked its way outward up here before it came around. As opposed to that look of the 60s that everything looks like it's just a ball on top of the head. I'm sorry, editing Lauren has to jump in here. I am in no way trying to imply that I do not absolutely adore these hairstyles from the 1960s. This is actress Stella Stevens. She unfortunately passed away last year, but if you Google her in the 1960s, you will see hairstyles that will give you goosebumps. Okay, back to the hairstyle. Also, this setting is great for getting this lovely curve without having to wet set or roller set your hair. That include a curling iron. This is a 5/8 inch curling iron. I am using some clips. Once I curl it, clip it to cool. Oh, I also, just for the little baby, because my hair's short, so for the little baby hairs, Velcro rollers can replace pin curl clips when your hair is just too short to turn it, pin it. These are awesome. I'm just using a comb, a simple hairbrush. I use Miracle Curl brush. Go to vintagehairstyling.com. My products that I'm using, I'm not using any pomade or anything because my hair's kind of a little coated right now because it's been a couple of days since I've washed it. I use just this inexpensive spray-on glosser and I'll show you how I use this. It's from Sally Beauty. And heat setting spray. Always use a heat setting spray when you're using a curling iron. Protect your hair, and then water. You could also do a setting lotion, but water. I'm going to show you how I use this just to get a little bit more vintage curl out of my hair than I do with just using a plain curling iron set. And hair dryer with a diffuser or a hood. You could use a hooded hair dryer as well, but this honestly is just as fast. It's super easy and quick. A quick starting tip. When you are curling your hair, the best curl comes from even heat saturation throughout the entire hair section. So start your curl closer to the base of the section or toward the middle of the hair shaft and rotate the curling iron to feed the curl around the wand. This will also reduce damage to the fragile ends of the hair. Let's just get right into the hairstyle. My hair length is a little grown out from my last time getting it cut into the convertible haircut from 1961, which you can find a link to the directions to down in the description. It's longest at the top and it tapers down in length as you get to the bottom. Section the hair into 4 main areas of this hairstyle. These sections are the top, which includes the hair between the peaks of the eyebrows and 2 to 3 inches back from the forehead. The sides, which includes the hair below this top section down to the tops of the ears, and the rest of the hair behind is the final section. Beginning with the back, I always start my curling iron curls by prepping the hair with a heat or thermal protectant spray. They protect your fragile hair cuticle from heat damage, reduce the amount of natural moisture evaporation, and help distribute the curling iron heat more evenly through the hair. Most of the curls of this hairstyle, except a few exceptions I'll show you in a few minutes, are basic on-base barrel-style curling iron curls rolling downward. If you're going to use a comb to act as a barrier between the curling iron and the scalp, be sure to use a carbon comb. A curling iron will melt a basic plastic comb. After you have slipped the curl off of the curling iron, be sure not to unravel the curl in the process. Pin the curl in place with a clip to cool. Repeat these steps all along the back until you reach the last bottom curls, which will be a little different. Do the best you can, but don't fret too much. This back section is not the money piece of this hairstyle. When I reach the hair at the nape of the neck, I do these curls a little different. I curl these curls upward toward the ceiling instead of down toward my back. With my hair length, I can start to look a little mullety otherwise. And with the hairs that are too short to pin into the curl shape for cooling, I use a small 1/2-inch self-grip Velcro roller. To section off the curls at the top, I point my comb at a diagonal. When I brush it out, this will ensure there are no visible gaps between the curls. Prep the hair with some thermal spray. I'm starting with the first curl at where I will part my hair and rolling curls away from this part. Gently release the curling iron out of the barrel curl without undoing the shape and clip the curl to cool. Repeat on the next piece of the top. Part the section at a diagonal, spray it with thermal spray, curl away from the part, and clip the curl to cool. Repeat on the last curl at the top. For the sides, I'm starting with the side section of the hairstyle that will be on the other side of the part. I section the top curl with a slight diagonal to avoid visible gaps in the final hairstyle. Curl in a basic barrel curl down toward the shoulder, and it'll be helpful to make sure that when you clip the curl to cool, from the base to the curl is the most evenly round. You can shape it without creating a pinch in the shape. The next curl below is curled the same way. So we don't want the lower curls on the side to stick straight out. We want them to swoop in closer to the face. I use my curling iron to get the bend into the end of the curl. I then roll the curl as close to the base as possible. I then pin it flat against the base, just like you would with a wet set pin curl. Do this with both of the curls above the ear. The other side of the hair is set the same way. Prep the hair with setting spray. Curl the first 2 barrel curls on base and pin them to cool. And we want the lowest curls to direct more around the face. I know I didn't get this curl very tight around the curling iron. I have some paranoia after a friend of mine burnt my face on my prom night pretty badly when she was curling my hair. So I'm rolling this curl up a little tighter and pinning it flat against the base, again like a wet set pin curl. And the final curl also above my ear, curling the same way and pinning it flat against the base. With your water or your setting spray in a spritzer bottle, dust the entire outside of the curls. Just a light spritz, you don't want them to get too wet. Then you can dry the curls underneath a hood dryer, or I'm going to use my regular handheld hair dryer with the diffuser attachment attached to it. I put it on a high setting and just slowly dry that surface water around my entire head. After it is completely dry, make sure that you let the hair cool off before you remove the pin curl clips. Before brushing out, I spray the curls with a little bit of a working hold hairspray, something that is easy to brush through. I also give it a little bit of a spritz with a glossing spray. I use a combination of my fingers and the brush to pinpoint what each area looks best with. I spray a little bit of the glosser on my hands and work it through certain curls to define them a little more. If you have thicker, stronger hair, you can certainly do this with a pomade, but with my fine, bleached out hair, the glosser is a little more gentle. The top section will be brushed a little more thoroughly than what I do on the rest of my hair. I work some glosser through it to add some shine and comb the whole section into one piece. And then I define the curly ends until they look right. This is not an exact science. The hair will have a little bit of a say in this process. If something looks wrong, I just try combing in a different style until it looks good. Just do whatever little perfections you see are important, and that's it. The key here is getting more curl closer to the scalp as opposed to with a curling iron. With curling iron, I'm sure you've noticed how you put the curl in, but there's always like a little section from the scalp where the curl just didn't seem to take. And that has to do with the fact that the heat can't saturate that part as well because you've got a bunch of hair wrapped onto that curling iron. That hair is standing as a barrier between the last part of the roll that's on the curling iron. That part that's like exposed to the air, but it's not actually touching the curling iron. It's not getting enough heat saturation. So this technique with the water, your hair's in that curl shape. When you spray the water or you spray the setting spray onto that part that's exposed to the outside air that didn't get enough curling iron heat, you're getting the curl with a different bond in the hair. And I'll leave a link in the description all about curls and the bonds in your hair and stuff. I'm not going to explain it all right here. I love the curl, and I love the way that the curl in the back, when I curl it back upwards, instead of it feeling like I'm getting kind of mullety right here, the curl forms up into the back of the hairstyle a little bit more nicely. I hope you learned something today that you could use in your own vintage curls at home, and I hope to see you at the next video. Thanks for watching.